The Euros are over and the transfer market is open. While we don't have some of the big money moves of the last years because of everything that's happening in the world, there are some big moves that we think could happen and that have already happened in Serie A. And we're going to go over some of the biggest. We got 10 biggest moves for every Serie A club. Guys, welcome to Italian Football TV. So sad that the Euros are over. I almost never want club football back. Can we just have a Euros every month?
It's usually the opposite, right? When they say international football.
Well, it was the opposite because for so many years, Italy was not playing at a great level. Yeah. And now we were back and we won. So now we want only Italy to play. And I almost enjoyed the brothership. We had Peter, we had Antonio, we had my dad. Everybody was just rooting for the same players.
But everyone, too, in social media, too. In the community, in the IFTV community, everyone's supporting each other.
What was hilarious is that Antonio, while we were in the midst of celebrations, looked at me and was like, there's 24 hours before I stop supporting Chiellini again. So it was hilarious. But anyway, guys, let's talk about the transfer market because we got to talk about something right now. Let's start off with AC Milan, who we saw today. Giroud signed for the club until 2023 from Chelsea. Low-cost striker, but could be a really cool option for them in attack. Brahim Diaz, a player that I've really liked for a long time, underwent his medical today, and he's going to join on a 2-year loan for $3 million with a $22 million option to buy. Real Madrid also have a $27 million buyback option. Of course, this comes from the GOAT, Fabrizio Romano. A lot of this news is. We'll have all the news linked in the description, just so we don't have to repeat it every time. Milan are also going for this kid, Fode Ballo-Torre. He's joining Milan from Monaco for $4 million. He's a 24-year-old left back who will likely be obviously a backup player for Theo Hernandez. By the way, Theo Hernandez is being linked with the move to PSG. Not going to happen. There's no way that they're actually going to they're going to sell him. Some of the reports are a little bit BS. I only bring it up because I'm sure it would have been in the comment section, both from the poor reports that were coming from, but also because Milan was signing left back. And the last news, obviously, Donnarumma, a few days after winning the Euros, signed for PSG for until 2026 for 60 million euros combined, about 12 million a year salary. What do you think about Milan's moves overall?
Overall, I think the one I'm most happy about is the Brahim Diaz move. I think him getting a lot more minutes next season, he can really become one of those players that can explode. It could be his year because we saw flashes of him this season, and he does so much. He goes up. He's not scared to break the lines. He has tricks up his sleeves, and he does. Even though he's got to work on his shots on goal, I can see that developing in the future.
It's a low-cost summer. It's a low-cost summer for a lot of teams.
Yeah, you got to do what you got to do.
Yeah. Milan's had a team that they were competing for a while for the first place, so they're just building that rapport and getting different players where they can. Drew's not a bad signing. Inter. Let's talk about Inter. Hakimi officially signed for PSG, as we already saw. But since we're recapping everything, I just bring up some of the news. The official fee turns out to be $60 million plus $8 million in bonuses that are easily achieved. So basically $68 million with another $3 million in milestone bonuses, which means if PSG achieves certain things, they'll have to pay Inter an extra $3 million. So total about 71 million euros total over here. Inter are looking at Alex Telles from Manchester United. They're trying to bring him on loan. United is not completely convinced, but there are contacts ongoing. Roma also like him, but it seems like it's tipping towards more so Inter. Inter's also going for Nandez, who's an interesting player from Cagliari. They want him on a loan, and Cagliari want Nainggolan outright and have signed Dalbert on loan. Last move that we'll talk about is Barella is being linked. We got some of our stupid friends, Max, I'm talking to you out there, who's a Liverpool fan, who thinks he's going to sign Nicolo Barella, who's sending me articles, we're signing him for 60 million. Max, you're not signing Barella is not going anywhere for 60 million. Also, to any Manchester United fans who are messaging saying, are we getting Barella for 60 million? No, you're not getting him. Inter have already sold most of the players that they needed to make up their fees that they were needing to. They would be absolutely crazy to sell Barella. And also, if Barella gets sold, he's selling for way more than 60 million.
Yeah.
Overall, what do you think about? I know you like Nandez.
Yes, I was gonna go to my favorite thing. I think Inter, and I think it's foolish that no other Serie A clubs are going for Nandez. I watched a lot of Cagliari last season because My boy Liko Yanis is over there. Even though they had a terrible season, almost getting relegated, Nandez was, I think, hands down the best player. He's an engine. He can play right mid. He can play center mid. He's an engine. He goes up. He hustles. He fights 50-50 balls, even though he's tiny. He doesn't stop running. He has an extra pair of lungs. I can keep going. The list goes on. He really stands out for me. He's great. And I feel like without him, they probably would have got relegated.
He's 25 years old. I just checked as well. So not a bad signing. Could be interesting for Inter. Again, another one of those where, listen, they have to sell before they could buy. You're not getting any big names.
Sure.
As long as you keep the Barella, you keep Lukaku. As long as you keep Barella, as long as you keep Lukaku, I pretty much see this finishing out for Inter with their new coach, Inzaghi, who will need to, they're the champs. They're the champs, so they're going to have to defend their reigns. We'll talk about the coaches a little bit later on. Juventus, Dybala looking more and more likely that he's going to renew with the club. Could be for around 10 million euros. There were some doubts over Dybala staying. With Allegri, they're saying Allegri wants to give him a pivotal role, a key position in this new team, which I'm personally really happy about. So it seems like Paolo is going to stay. He's also looking like he's in the best shape of his life. Some of the images of him training in Miami, he's already back at work with Juventus. I think physically he struggled last year, and this year is one of those years for him to get back. Ronaldo also looks like he's probably going to stay, and he could even renew for another year. Nedved confirmed that he'll be back in training around June 25th, June 26th. So it seems like he's going to stay. Would have been hard for Ronaldo to really make a move because look at even Messi having to cut his salary at Barcelona.
That's true.
It's hard with the money going around. And for him to go to a team like PSG, they probably would have needed to move Mbappe. So it seems like Ronaldo's going to stay. Locatelli is the name that I know every Juventus fan clicked on this video ready to hear what's happening with Locatelli. Here's the situation. Juventus and Sassuolo have an amazing relationship. They are very good friends. Juve have offered a Chiesa-style deal, which is an obligation to buy at 30 million after a loan. Sassuolo are not very happy with these terms. They would like other ways to be able to get paid. And also, they want the evaluation at 40 million euros. This comes from our good friend, Romeo Agresti, who's a great source for any Juventus-related news. Chiesa-style, meaning Juve, when they got Chiesa from Fiorentina, in my opinion, Fiorentina, probably gave a deal that they shouldn't have gone looking back at right now, where they gave a loan with obligation to buy only at 40 million. So the total of the deal that Juve paid for Chiesa is 60 million, but it's spread out over multiple years, which helps them with their payment terms. So they're trying to do that with Locatelli. My opinion, I have a feeling that they'll end up finding a deal for Locatelli. Just a matter of time. If they're only around 10 million difference, this is probably going to be the only signing that Juventus really make this summer. So I'm sure that they're going to have to go for him. And we know that the kid, Arsenal want him, but they're saying that he's even willing to stay at Sassuolo another season rather than going to Arsenal, but is pushing for the move to Juventus. Last news, we've seen a lot of people are linking Jorginho with Juventus, but Juventus do not have money to buy a Jorginho. They barely have money to be able to get Locatelli. Jorginho is going to cost way too much money as he completely broke out for a lot of the people. Chelsea would be absolutely crazy to sell him. He's also champion of Europe with them. And also, last news is Chiesa actually too. We know some of the Chelsea fans and the Bayern Munich fans were thinking that maybe Chiesa, they had made bids for Chiesa around 100 million euros. Juventus are not selling him. Juventus would be crazy to sell him for anything. We also had our stupid friend Ryan, who you guys all know very well, who thinks that Juve will sell Chiesa for 100 million. In my opinion, if you don't get 150 million, there's no point to even talk about selling Chiesa, because not that he's worth 150 million, but who's Juventus going to buy if you got the money right? If you got 100 million, you're going to have to go out and buy somebody, you're not going to find another talent like him. It's going to be really tough.
I mean, you already know for the Juve news, you already know my stance on Locatelli. He's great. This is going to be interesting for Dybala. This could be like a new signing since he was...
Sound like Galliani.
That's funny, but it does excite the fan. Shout out to Adrian, but it does excite the fans though, because a season to forget, albeit with all the adversities and all the controversies and stuff. But interesting enough too, with Allegri going there, we all know Allegri knows that winning mentality, and he's gonna be back on the throne. See what he could do there, possibly with Inter. Arguably, you could say a weaker side. Well, yeah, definitely weaker side. You're getting Inzaghi and Hakimi left, and who knows who else they're gonna get. But I'm really interested to see how Juve can do this summer, especially if they get Locatelli. They're not gonna get Jorginho. They're gonna keep Chiesa, and Dybala's gonna be back in the lineup.
Let me go through a couple other news real quick. Napoli, not much happening with Napoli. They signed Di Lorenzo until 2026. Insigne, there have been some question marks if Insigne is going to stay, if he's going to go. Seems like his relationship with De Laurentiis is not on the best terms. Sky are saying that it's going to be up to Insigne. Lorenzo will decide if he wants to stay, or if he doesn't, he's on vacation, a well-deserved vacation. So let's let him join it for now. Roma news, Rui Patricio signed for 10 million euros. He's going to stay at the club for 3 years. Going the opposite way, Paul Lopez signed for Marseille on loan. Zaniolo is like a new signing, as Michael said and as Galliani says. He played his first game since September of 2020, and the last player going the opposite way. Kluivert is joining Nice, which is really funny because I remember there was a video of Mourinho being obsessed with Kluivert during his Ajax days when they played against Manchester United. So, seems like things have changed. Lazio, let me run through that news real quick. Lazio, PSG are close to signing Joaquin Correa for 18 million euros plus Sarabia. Very disappointing. Also disappointing is that Luis Alberto seems like his relationship with the club, with the ownership, is not on the best terms. They're saying that him and Tare got into a fight and that Luis Alberto asked to be sold. They're saying that only Sarri could convince him, with Milan also being one of the teams that's interested in signing him. Felipe Anderson returned to the club. Shout out to him. He probably had spent his best years at Lazio, and now he returns. And also, there was a funny video of Maurizio Sarri, who was fighting with some of the Lazio fans already, because the Lazio fans were insulting Muriqi. And he said, listen, if you insult him one more time, I'm going to kick you out of training. So good by Sarri to stand by his man. Last two pieces of news. Tottenham and Atletico Madrid both want Gollini from Atalanta. Spurs are the more serious of the candidates. It could be a loan with obligation to buy under certain conditions. Nothing is in an advanced stage yet. Still just talks. We know Atalanta brought in Musso, so it seems like they're going to let go of Gollini. And Venezia signed 2 American players.
Not bad.
Tanner Tessman, who's 19 years old, from FC Dallas. And then a kid that we know pretty well, Gianluca Busio, who's from Sporting Kansas City. 4 million euros is the total deal. He is 19. His father is full Italian. And I believe Gianluca also has his Italian passport. So Venezia getting a couple of young kids and Americans, which is nice to see.
That is definitely good to see. Venezia coming up to in the Serie A.
Everything I said. Give me your one standout.
My one standout would be, I'm a little nervous on Lazio, seeing that Correa, a starter, and Luis Alberto, also a starter, could be leaving. And you're getting a fantastic coach like Sarri. I feel like that leaves a lot of question marks too to the fans. Hopefully, if Correa does leave, I don't think Felipe Anderson is good enough. First of all, when he's very inconsistent. He does remind me of Correa in that sense and being inconsistent. But Luis Alberto, I feel like that would be a huge stab in the chest if they lose someone like that. Because I really think he'd be world class under Sarri. And how are you going to replace someone like that with, no one has money right now, and in this market, it's hard to buy anyone.
Guys, let us know. I know you probably have Euro fever, but we got to talk about something else every once in a while.
Right.
Every once in a while.
Back to club football, right?
I'm not subscribing to the idea yet. But guys, if you enjoyed it, make sure you like this video, subscribe if you're new over here. Let us know some other content that you'd like to see from this summer with us. We're kind of like looking around at each other, like, what do we do now that the Euros are over?
Throw us some suggestions,
guys. Let us know. As always, talk to you soon.
Ciao, guys.